just popped back on quickly to show you how I'm getting on. I've blanket stitched over all of that chain stitch that I'd already put in place, and over all of my little thread ladder rungs. It took quite a time doing all the blanket stitch for this, so that's going to be the one where I'll cut the fabric away, and then for this next one where I'm going to burn the fabric away, I've decided to try something different. So you can see on the this ring, it looks a bit different. I decided I wasn't going to I just didn't have the patience to do all that blanket stitch again. Don't particularly enjoy blanket stitch. So I started with the running stitch and then chain stitched over it, and then I just whipped it with, again, sticking with the same colour and 2 strands of the embroidery thread. So all I'm doing, I thought I'd show you this. There's my chain stitch. I'm just, another little tip, I found that so as not to keep catching the silk, it's easier to put the wrong end of the eye end of the needle through rather than try and do it with the pointy end, because I just found I kept catching the fabric, especially when I was trying to go under these. So I'm just going back through each of my little chains with the wrong end of the needle, and just running another length of thread around them. Oops. Yeah, so you end up with that effect, and I might go round one more time just to make it really substantial. So I'm not actually going through the fabric this time, I'm literally just picking up the chain. And then I've still got to do my little ladder rungs again all around here, and then I'm going to burn out the holes with my soldering iron. That's the fun and slightly scary part. That's the point where if I've miscalculated, the middle circle will just completely drop out of the fabric. Okay, right, I'm going to crack on and finish that, and then come back and show you the fun part. You can see now I have finished making all the spokes of my wheel there. I did a little running stitch to mark them out first. Didn't measure anything, I just eyeballed it. It's come out pretty even. Then I did a chain stitch over each one, and then I whipped the chain stitch like I showed you just now. So the next thing I'm going to do is this little eyelet thing in the middle, kind of like a round buttonhole I'm planning. So this is going to be the first actual hole. I'm going to be making holes in 3 ways. I'm going to be using my pokey tool, and I'm going to be snipping the fabric here, and I'm going to be burning it here. So let's make this first hole. I thought this one would work because it's nice and sharp at the end, but it goes right up to quite a big hole. There we go.
Made the first hole!
So now I'm going to bring my thread up where I've marked that circle in the back stitch, and I'm just going to do my kind of buttonhole stitch, blanket stitch. I don't know, do you know, I don't even know what stitches I'm doing half the time. I think I cobble 2 different kinds of stitches together quite often, and I'm thinking that if I pull these stitches fairly tight as I go around it, the hole will get bigger. My plan is that I will put a piece of orange sari silk behind this, so the orange will show through the pink, because you know I love that orange and pink clash thing. So I'm hoping that is showing. Yeah, I think it is. Obviously in a pink mood today, got a pink cardigan as well. I didn't used to like pink. Oops, sorry for the wobble. But as I've got older, I've I don't know, come to like it more. No, so many different shades of pink. Anyway. But I will tend to put pink with green or with orange, you know. to make it pop a bit. There we go. So you can see I'm making this kind of a buttonhole stitch, or a blanket stitch around that hole. So I'm hoping I will end up with a nice little neat round hole in the middle. There we go, so I'll carry on working around that, and then it's time to come back and start making the serious holes. So I'll finish this bit and then I will come back. I finished my stitching. I've done my little eyelet in the middle. It's really not very perfect, you know me, doesn't bother me at all. So now I've come to the exciting, slightly scary part, where I've got my little dinky soldering iron ready. It's up to temperature. Well, it's up to the temperature I'd use for soldering. It might be hotter than you need for this, but hey ho. Now, this has become very puckered, this piece, so I think I'm going to end up cutting this motif out, cutting this circle out, and just using it as an applied motif on another piece of fabric. So that means I can use some of this other spare stuff for just practicing on, just to see if this is actually going to work. So I've got the backing on it, which might make a difference. Is it gonna, oh, it's going through, it's leaving the leftover metal on my that was left over from when I was soldering with it. Yeah, now would it work better if it was just the silk without the backing? That's not making a lot of odds actually. Yeah, it's actually quite controllable. I thought it would just go straight through, but it's actually quite controllable, so I don't feel as scared now as I did. Okay, let's go for it, shall we? This is the point where I hope that what worked in my head is going to work in practice, and this won't all just fall to pieces. Okay, let's go for it. Nothing to lose, just some time. Pooh, it's a bit stinky. And it's leaving kind of a singed edge as well. So if I was to put it, I'm just deliberately trying it on the cotton now. You see, it doesn't really do anything to the cotton thread. It's burning away the silk much more easily, which is, I guess, why this works. I should have made smaller holes, really. I quite like the look of it. Just need to be more careful with that soldering on. That's 300 odd degrees, so I think because of the bit of synthetic material here where I've backed it, it's probably behaving differently. I quite like the look. I'm tempted to just make a lot of little holes and leave them like that. Just, yeah, that wasn't my intention, but yeah, let's do that. Oh, see, now I've actually had a go with it. I'm thinking there are other possibilities. Ooh, it's quite satisfying. And it's nice that you can go right up to the stitching. Without worrying that it's going to go through that as well. Look, pretty. So I'm going to put some orange sari silk behind. I might go for a brighter orange so it's more obvious, but yeah, just so you can get the idea. Oh, it's a really interesting texture. There we go, that's better. Okay, let's keep going. I think it's set to put its temperature back down if it's idle for some time, this soldering iron, which is good. Oh, this is fun. It is slightly stinky. It smells a bit like burnt hair in here at the moment. And again, it might be worse because I've got that synthetic interfacing. Oh, I just really like that look. I'm sure there will be other uses for this, different projects further down the line when you want some interesting texture and things. Oh, look at those. Don't know how well it's showing up. Yeah. Oh, I like that. I'm going to do them like this. It's a shame I've not done it with that one, but it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. So I will work back through and do that with all of those. It's making me think I probably didn't even really need the spokes, because I could have left just enough fabric to hold itself together. And there's a slight stiffness to it where probably because of the synthetic interfacing. Okay, so that's that one. I will carry on with that. Should I do one more? Do you want to see me do one more? It's quite addictive, actually. I guess if I had a different soldering head with one of the... It's gone down again. Come on. Heats very quickly once it gets going. Once it decides to get going. There we go. And I'm off again. That is like one of the most satisfying things I've done recently. I've used this soldering iron to do more sensible, more traditional things. I've sat and watched my son doing some wiring for my latest book nook, which I will be sharing with you soon, because I can start making all the fun parts for it now. I did help with the lighting, but I couldn't have done it on my own. And Tom is brilliant at that sort of thing. Why does this keep losing temperature though? I'm probably doing something stupid with it. Yeah, I know you can get different shaped heads for it as well, so... Oh, I'm really liking that. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So the other thing, I'll carry on and finish working around that off camera. I might even be tempted to put a few holes through here. I don't know. So the other thing was to actually cut the holes, and if you remember that I left, of course you do, because it was only a couple of minutes ago for you. For me it was some hours ago that I made these little spokes or rungs in the ladder around this circle. They are separate from the fabric, so I can cut the fabric between, but I've got to be really careful. Maybe come up from underneath. Yeah, it is awkward, because you don't want to end up cutting the stitching. There we are. So I guess then what I will do is cut all of this away. I need to have it under my nose. I can't really do this at arm's length, but I just wanted to quickly show you what I'm aiming at. Yeah, I need to be able to properly see what I'm doing. I'll cut a slit through all the way around first. Definitely need a little pointy pair of scissors, and then I will carefully cut away all of the excess fabric there, leaving just my little stitched links behind. So that'll take me a little while, and then I need to decide. I will probably cut really close to the outer edge of this and apply this to a new piece. But I'll come back and show you. I'll finish snipping all this away and finish burning all my holes, and then I'll come back and show you how it's looking. I said I'd be doing this video would be in lots of bits. It definitely is. I finished snipping away and making all my holes, and I must say I am absolutely thrilled to bits with how this has turned out. Really, really pleased with it. And not exactly what I had in my head, but because I was going to burn these holes away altogether, but I much prefer that look. And I think what I'm going to do is I will be cutting it out separate, because this is just too puckered now. It might have been better if I'd have had it in a frame or something, In fact, the whole process would have been a lot easier if I'd done it in a frame. But so what I will do is put a couple of little patches of this colour under here, because I think that looks really nice behind the small holes. And then I'm going to patch together some of this one or this one. This one maybe is a bit brighter. So I'll put a couple of patches on the back to cover this area of the blue, and then I'll put a couple of patches over the whole thing so that they'll show through that outer ring. And I suppose the first thing is to just cut round the whole thing. Let's do that in a minute. And then I'll have to decide what colour to do my background. I love this. I'm so pleased. One of the things about doing, having, whatever creative hobby, is you get such a buzz when things go as you planned. Even more of a buzz when they go better than you expected, like this. But of course there is the flip side, that when it goes horribly wrong it can be a bit of a downer. But you just got to try and tell yourself to learn from it and move on, really. Time's not wasted because you've been experimenting. So there we go. I'm really chuffed with that. I'm really chuffed with it. That's a lot of fun. I think I might use just this little bit. If I can find some more of this fabric, I might use that as the background now. Okay, so I'm going to put that together. It will be very simple apart from that. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do for my dangle, but I do somewhere have some little, just a small piece of that bobble fringing. So I think I might put this on a rectangular pennant with the bobble fringing at the bottom and some orange and the turquoise showing through. I'll come back and show you that in just a minute for you, and probably half an hour or so for me. I'm really enjoying watching some crafty videos on YouTube. I'm having a lovely time. A chilled Sunday afternoon. Perfect. Well, I've finished and I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. So we'll give you a bit of a close-up. There we go. I love all those little, I love how the holes turned out. I'm really, really chuffed with that. I put the whole band, the whole strip of sari ribbon across the middle in the end, so that would show through the outer ring of holes and also break up the background a little bit. And then I just put a smaller piece of the turquoisey colour, more of a teal kind of colour, isn't it? Sari ribbon behind just the centre bit, and then picked up those colours in the decorative stitching around. I added my little pom-pom trim I've been saving and wanting to use at some point, and I put some orange stitching in as well. Yeah, the stitching was all really simple. It was just running stitches, and then the turquoise lines of stitching, it's still just a running stitch, but I just whipped them with the same colour. Here's how my little pile of pennants is shaping up. It's funny, look at this first one, the very first one I did now, and it looks really kind of a bit too, the colours are a bit too tame compared to, it's just got lairier and lairier as time's gone on. But they'll all be in a different order once I hang them anyway, so it doesn't really, yeah. So, and this one's really quite small, but I think that's fine. I think it's fine for them to be different shapes and sizes. Okay, so that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.